What did you think was normal about your body until someone pointed out that it wasn't? I thought everyone's joints cracked like mine. Every time I stood up, sat down, or turned my head, loud pops. My knees sounded like bubble wrap when I walked upstairs. My ankles cracked when I rotated them. My shoulders popped when I reached for something on a high shelf. I was 23 and just figured that's how bodies work. It had been like this since I was maybe 14. My mom would hear me coming down the hallway because my knees announced every step. My friends in high school used to joke that I sounded like an old man. I'd laugh along because what else could I do? I wasn't in pain, so I never thought it was a problem. Then I started dating Abigail. We'd been together about 2 months when she first noticed. One morning, I got out of bed and my spine cracked 5 times in a row. Haha. She actually flinched and pulled the covers up. Does that hurt? She asked, genuinely concerned. What? The cracking? No, that's just normal. She stared at me like I just said I had a third arm. Babe, that's not normal. That's like a lot of cracking. I laughed it off. Everyone's joints crack. Not like that, she said quietly, but I didn't think much of it. A week later, we're at the movies, and I lean over to grab popcorn. My shoulder popped so loud, the guy in front of us turns around. Abigail grabbed my arm and whispered, "Did you hear that?" "Yeah, my shoulder does that sometimes. It's fine." She wasn't convinced. The next day at her apartment, I stood up from her couch, and it sounded like someone snapping a bundle of twigs. Her roommate looked up from across the room with wide eyes. "Dude, are you okay?" her roommate asked. "He says that's normal," Abigail said, her voice dripping with skepticism. Over the next month, Abigail kept bringing it up. She started counting. One Saturday morning, she told me I'd cracked 47 times in just 3 hours. I thought she was exaggerating, but she'd been keeping a tally on her phone. "Abigail, you're being paranoid." "I'm fine. Humor me," she said. "Just let me film you standing up one time." I agreed, just to prove her wrong. She set up her phone, and I stood up from the couch. When I watched the video back, I actually got chills. It sounded like someone crumpling a bag of chips while snapping a handful of popsicle sticks. Even I had to admit that didn't sound right. But I still didn't want to go to the doctor. I hate doctors. I avoid them unless I'm literally dying. Abigail knew this, which is why she did what she did next. 2 weeks later, I got a text. "You have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 2 p.m. I already requested off work to drive you. No excuses." When I showed up confused the next day, she'd already emailed my doctor the video along with her detailed notes about my cracking frequency. The nurse actually laughed when she brought me back. "Your girlfriend is very thorough," she said. The doctor watched the video 3 times. Then he started moving my joints, shoulders, elbows, knees, ankles. Each one bent way further than it should have. He could bend my thumb back to touch my forearm. He pulled my shoulder and it moved 2 inches out of the socket and popped back in. "Does this hurt?" he kept asking. "No," I kept answering. His face got more serious with each answer. He left and came back with another doctor. They both examined me, bending and pulling and rotating. Finally, they sat down. "You have what's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome," the first doctor said. "Your body doesn't produce collagen correctly, which makes your connective tissue weak. Your joints are hypermobile. They move way beyond normal range." "Okay, but I'm fine, right? Nothing hurts." The second doctor leaned forward. "The cracking you're hearing, those are partial dislocations. Your joints are slipping out of place and relocating hundreds of times a day. Every single time you hear a crack, you're doing micro damage." My stomach dropped. "If you don't start treatment and physical therapy now," the first doctor continued, "you'll need joint replacements by your mid-30s. Probably both knees, maybe your hips and shoulders too." I sat there in silence. I was 23. I'd been destroying my joints for nearly a decade without knowing it. They set me up with a physical therapist who specializes in EDS. I had to learn how to move without hyperextending, how to strengthen the muscles around my joints to hold them stable. I started wearing braces on my worst joints. The cracking decreased by maybe 60% in the first 6 months. Abigail came to every single physical therapy appointment with me. She learned all the exercises so she could help me at home. Last week, my physical therapist told me my joint stability has improved so much that I've probably avoided surgery entirely, all because Abigail refused to accept it sounding like a percussion instrument was normal.